All right, good morning, y'all. Joshua here. We're gonna be doing week 2 video for the Rhodesian Ridgeback puppies. Before we get started, it's been a really eventful week, for certain. I will notably say that I have had more nights not sleeping that well than nights sleeping well. Fortunately, last night was a good night's rest. So it is Sunday, so technically we've rolled over the second week. We're on 2 days, 2 weeks and 1 day right now as I'm recording this. However, a lot of the video content that I'll be incorporating with this over top and throughout is from this week. So the biggest part is when we started the week, they still had their eyes closed. We just kind of did the introductions last week. So I hope you kind of got some familiarity with each puppy and their color, their gender, and so forth, and then just some notable features with their coats and stuff. This week they all open their eyes, so I do want to do another introduction with them in front of the camera, so we'll go through that a little bit later. But of course they're just feeding like a frenzy. They're growing massively. They're still just mostly peeing. There's been a couple things in the pen, and I'm definitely been incorporating more things like nightly baths. I did end up clipping their nails against my better judgment for the first time, just because it was advised with their eyes being open and them gonna be starting to kind of play together. They're still more in that phase where when they go to sleep and where they're sleeping, they're so malleable that I kind of wanted to get them used to it at first. And even with all puppies having 19 paws, or nails per puppy, 9 of them to go through, I did end up missing a couple. So I did that first. Then during bath time, it's easier to tell which ones I didn't get to, because whenever I'd give them a bath with a microfiber towel, it's easy to tell when you're going into and cleaning their paws, because you'll be able to catch, like, their nails are so sharp that it would just catch inside of the fabric. So that was a really cool way of indicating right afterward where I had missed, and the ones that were really well done. I really haven't wanted to start clipping their nails so early, but with their eyes being open and them kind of crawling and they're gonna start playing a lot more, I did go ahead and slowly but surely make it through all 180 nails or something. So mom also got a bath today, and of course we've still been doing the nightly regimens for wipe down with all the puppies every night and evening. It seems like every night about 2 a.m. Big blue boy number 9, he's just grown massively, by the way. It's incredible how big he is. Like just approaching 2 weeks old, and yeah, they're like basically moved from squirming on the ground, crawling essentially, to full strength, like walking. I mean, feebly, but they are moving around really well. So again, blue boy was black boy number 9 from the introduction video, and blue boy number 9 is the same. And between number 9 and number 8 boy, they're obviously the biggest, and they're male, so it's kind of to be expected, but it is incredible, the growth on these guys right now. And of the girls, of course, number 6 and number 2 are still kind of leading the pack. So they're feeding very readily. But one thing I was going to say on this was the big mistake that I made was that I, with all the nails trying to go through and clipping them, I did that first and then went through doing the wipe down bath this evening, and I realized that the front paws of Pink Girl number 1 I had completely missed. So I did those really quick, and she was really easy. She was tired enough. But I also then got to Orange Boy number 3, and apparently I'd missed like everything on him. I don't know how he went under the radar, but either way, the problem is I don't know if it was he just wasn't getting enough food earlier, so he wasn't so like milk drunk like the rest of them, but he was restless tonight trying to give him his bath. And so it's kind of a lot going on here at midnight with all the dogs, the other dogs, not just the puppies, and my roommate being in here chatting about stuff. And I was kind of desperately trying to make sure I get all of them. And I unfortunately apparently clipped way too close on one of his front paws, like his index paw nail. Of course, it starts to bleed, and I'm freaking out, not knowing exactly what to do. So, you know, the remedy is just, of course, not freak out. Try to keep their blood pressure from getting too high. So I had to pull them off the nip and stop feeding, because that's where they're like ultimately stressing out. And so what I ultimately did then was just apply pressure with this, here, I'll show you it, with this type of rag or whatever. But yeah, it got a little bloody. I mean, for what it was, this doesn't really show too much, but it was pretty bad for a second. So I just applied pressure with that for like a couple minutes, a couple times, and then just observed him. Plus, I do use a lot of doTERRA, so with the essential oils, I have an On Guard spray, so that's an antiseptic. It also has a numbing agent. So I did spray after cleaning it under the sink with hot water for a little while too. So that seemed to do the trick. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, they're pretty small, and it really wasn't super bad. But by the time it got to bath time, I was trying to give him a bath, and he was still more agitated. And I think I got a little bit too impatient, him being the last one, to where I ended up getting one too short. So I felt so bad. There was a little bit of blood. It's not the biggest deal, but at the same time, that's kind of one of the reasons why you want to be really cautious when it comes to trimming. I did just use a standard fingernail clipper. They're still so small, and the advantage that I kind of have with these guys too is that all of them have very distinct white here on their paws. So with that, some of them come all the way up here on their arms, right or left on the fronts and or the legs. So with that, the nails end up being clear too, so it's a lot easier. You just want to get the white tips. You do not want to go anywhere near. The big fear is if you go way too deep, I mean, there's a potential of hitting an actual blood vessel and bleed out a puppy. So you do want to be super careful with that. I simply applied some toilet paper, really firm pressure on his front. It was on his front, like index. So I double checked him a couple times before I went to bed, but it had really slowed, so I wasn't too worried. But initially, it was scary. It's always going to be scary when you do that. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that that's kind of the big highlights of week 2, like with their eyes opening and then their strength. So with the strength, it's really their awareness coming into play with their growth. So now they're like almost standing up on all fours feebly, albeit, but they are moving very well. And yeah, other than that, still a lot of sleeping. So I think what we're also going to end up doing here starting week 3 is changing up the pen versus the blankets virtually, the whole thing. I'm going to try it with puppy pads on the plastic on there this week, at least to start and see how that really goes. And then I can kind of get a feel for how much they're actually going to the bathroom as well. So I'm going to do that for a couple days, so expect that in the near future. But if you haven't already we do want this channel to kind of help me find some forever homes, so liking, commenting, and subscribing, any of those, doing that will basically help the channel showcase these puppies a little bit more to a broader spectrum. A lot of people out there do know Rhodesian Ridgebacks very well. They love the Rhodesian Ridgebacks very well. They know me for a long period of time. They know Kiwi very well. So you should know that these types of dogs are a very unique breed, to say the least, but they're also really adaptable. But nonetheless, for each puppy, I do want to have a really good selection of people interested in them, not just for selling them, but also, like, the most important part, making sure they have true, firm, fundamental homes that will be adequate for their life. As you know, they are the small breed. They are a large breed. Kiwi is about 65 to 70 pounds, and the really big thing is just making sure you have an exercise regimen at the very least, and more likely or more attractive for a homeowner of them is also to have an ample yard, perhaps even with another dog or two. Not to say that's necessary. I got Kiwi as a puppy solo, but I also was really good with socializing her at the puppy parks when she was young. We were out in the field and just out on the hills hiking all the time. We got really good relationship with her off the leash, so she could kind of go and wander, but I would pull back. You need to have that type of regimen for these puppies as they grow, especially their first year to 2 years. You know, after that, they're still going to have a lot of high energy, but they're not the barkers. They're not going to be the annoyance to your neighbors. They can have tendencies with their nose to really find everything. So the house, like with food, you know, chocolates and eat sweets and kids, things like that. That's the biggest warning for anybody, you know, looking for any dog as a puppy. Making sure sweets aren't out and available, most notably chocolate, and putting away food. You will see food disappear once they find their way up. So here at the week 2, I do want to highlight this. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. So thank you very much for watching, and let's go. See you in the next one. Peace.